Let's go to your pre-political career, and that's media, Gary. Let's talk about the ABC.
Sure.
Now, for months and months and months, ratings have shown the ABC is in trouble on radio, right? It used to be dominant on radio. We know that the board it's reported today, have told management, you've got to get radio turned around. There's urgently overhaul it. It's particularly bad in Victoria. They had a once flagship product in the mornings, hosted by Virginia Trioli now. Well, it's lost half of its audience. This was once John Fane's program. Too many presenters, it's told the papers today, have lost the connection with traditional intelligent, give me both sides of the story, ABC listeners. Now, it's hard to disagree with that, is it, Gary?
Well, Peter, friends don't let friends watch or listen to their ABC is my mantra, and I worked for the ABC in 1987 at the 7:30 report here in Brisbane when it was locally produced. And ever since those days, I mean, you were still in high school, of course, Peter, but ever since those days, the ABC has gradually crept away from its audience. It is now, you know, based in the Ultimo Centre in Sydney or South Bank in Melbourne and South Bank in Brisbane, and they just don't get themselves out and about in the regions where the regions really do want them to perform. I believe firmly that the ABC needs to be in touch with the listeners through the money. And that is, make them a subscription service. Turn them into something where people in cities and towns pay a subscription if they want to opt in, otherwise it's dead air. And let that then offset the cost of providing services across maybe the more sparse parts of Australia. But Peter, Radio National, which has some of its biggest and highest paid performers, the people, or non-performers perhaps, but the ABC paying hundreds of thousands of dollars per person per year to some of those presenters, it would be cheaper to ring the listeners than to actually turn the transmitters on. That's the reality of where the ABC is at right now. Out of touch, out of control, and really very much so focused in on themselves. They're a bit like the state governments of the media. They stand at the door and look in. They satisfy themselves every 6 months by polling their own newsrooms around whether or not they're a credible news source and tell everyone they are, and no one's believing them anymore.
I love that idea. Let's put it on the tax form. When you put your tax in every year, you tick the box. Do you want to pay for the ABC out of your taxes or not? And make them actually chase an audience as opposed to the zeitgeist.